Howdy folks, I just ran outside. I saw it snowing. It's May, 6th of May, and it's snowing. I hope you can see the camera ain't too good, but the ground is still green, of course. So that's why we're in this jacket and not snow gear. But anyway, I just posted one video, and the whole point of that video was just to explain what's going on in my life in Finnish, and then it had a short part where I spoke a ton of languages, and then I made a goddamn video short of that, and it got so much views that I thought it went almost viral. So I guess I should introduce myself in English as well, so you know what you're watching. Well, let me just do a cold reading. I'm trying to protect this broken ass phone so I can read it, what I wrote. Just a quick story, and gonna give you have fun with language as well. This is what I wrote, not today, so okay, well this is a kind of interesting introduction, I gotta admit, now that I look at it. Am I a heroic character about to break through in Hollywood, in the Tinseltown? Well, I don't know if I'm a superhero, but I sure have survived thus far what can only be prescribed miraculous by nature. I mean, usually guys who have gone through the same end up being extremely ruthless. Lose their conscience, have no guilt. Or just committing plain old suicide. Either way. And I guess I most likely wouldn't be alive if it weren't for my superpower. Well, autism, I guess. And there's another one as well. For example, I was scraped off tarmac, off the asphalt, and spent the maximum time in ER taking hold of a person. When I came to, I had no idea whether I still have a dingus, or whether I will ever walk again. Upon waking up in the ER, they told me if I indeed refuse all white medical colonialist medication due to my indigenous upbringing, I have about 50% chance to die that same very night due to blood clots. I took that chance, and you can believe me, no one but Mel Gibson and yours truly would handle 40 stitches on stomach, a leg bone replaced from knee to ankle with titanium, arm with a shorter titanium bar, broken neck, disfigured skull, and so forth with zero medication. Nada. Absolutamente nada. Yeah, so I can't even scroll down the text. It's just breaking, and this screen has 1,000 cracks in it, so this is super dangerous, and I don't want to lose this phone because I haven't got a backup copy of all the novels I've written with it. I have backup copies of some, but not all. Anyway, that is not at all why I consider myself nothing short of miraculous. I also have lived a very tough life pretty much for 39 years in a row in 4 continents. Have been tried to recruit as a spy and can communicate in over 10 languages. Do my own martial arts videos with titanium arm and a leg, do volunteer work for the autistic, and now I'm literally risking my life to protect a kid attacked by a giant of an adult. I am joining the fight for sovereign Ukraine that was attacked and invaded by the largest country on earth. And still it always wants to gulp down some more land, its belly of the beast. I come from a tribe of indigenous European. I'm a quarter of the Skolt and Anar Sami tribes, and pretty much 75% Finnish of Finland, which is a related language, Finnish. What's more, now for over a year I have been living without electricity due to not being able to afford it. I spend my days huddling in the cold and nights in a warm place. When I want to eat something warm, I gotta make a fire. But no, I don't live on catching squirrels, even though they say the squirrel's got a nutty flavor to it, like pinecone type of flavor. Well, now let's do some languages on the fly without pausing so you can see what I've got and what I don't got. Well, hang on to your britches and grab a fork, sonny boy. When it comes to cooking up some varmints like squirrels and possum for supper, you better believe we're talking about some serious southern comfort food. Now, some folks might turn their noses up at the idea of eating critters like that, but let me tell you, boy, when they're cooked up right, they can be tastier than a mess of fried catfish on a Sunday morning. Now, squirrel's got a bit of a nutty flavor to it, so you want to season her up with some salt, pepper, and maybe a touch of cayenne to give her a little kick. And possum, whoa, well, that's a gamey meat, so you want to marinate it in buttermilk for a few hours before you fry Mr. Possum up with some bacon grease. Right, I used to actually live nearby Scotland, so, I was just taking a stroll, and I saw this green thing lifting its head off the pond. He just grabbed it by the neck, harnessed it, flew it all the way to China to show them what's a real dragon like. That they like the kraken, then we just can't just do like, it's getting so wet. Now, then, let's switch to the easiest language for a native English speaker to learn, Icelandic. Jag lärde islänningar bara vilja fara och kredi för namnska i högskolan. Husundri saula med olika drömmar och engineers. Sammanlagda förra on treistre spegelrik. Fartjäkki neida med drömmar om mer 2 och 4 1. Eifat som veiter fri och råg leimisturleit. Well, the easiest language for a native speaker of English to learn, it could also be Swedish or Danish, just as likely than it is Icelandic, as they're all related languages, very much related. But these two, Swedish and Danish, do have a pronunciation that might be harder to imitate for a English speaker. So, let's start with the medieval Finnish. Medieval Swedish, which sounds something like this. I'm just using the modern Swedish but pronouncing it like it was medieval. Här sitter jag bara ute i skogen och det är ju de här Savnihall, de här saunatomtarna jag letar efter här i skogen, för jag har inte hittat någon skuggeboy fortfarande fast det ju talas i kummeli. And the Swedish, well, there's the southern Swedish, which is really like det här liksom, det är konstigt det med att det är svårt att förstå, man bara frågar folk förstår det här. Vi bara ser filmen, du ska fasta potatis i munnen innan du börjar ta. But there in like Stockholm, the capital of Sweden, it sounds a little bit more like this. Hej brorsan, du ska bara lägga ner och vi ska chilla lite och vi ska tala lite affärer och vi måste ju kämpa mot de här aina. Liksom, vi är fortfarande de starkaste men här, vi måste hålla det här. I'm gonna say more of that because, but then there's this parody version of the kummeli of like bara kan jag ju skugga större skugga bara han bör klar upp på trä så är det att inte rädd att det ska bara röka av. Du kunde bara falla ner från trädet och han bara gick ett träd upp. Okay, but I don't want to do it too long because I'm breaking my goddamn phone, and I really have been living with this phone for about 4 years now and written over 10,000 pages of fiction with it. So, typing with this, oh my god, it ain't nice, but it's got so many bugs. And of course we can do one more Viking stuff before we move on to the more civilized languages. I think you can guess which languages it is. Ich kann nicht viel Deutsch. Die Art und Weise, wie ich Deutsch gelernt habe, ist ziemlich komisch. Ich war ungefähr 13. Ich anfing 5 Tage die Woche direkt nach der Schule Marienhof zu schauen. Die theatralische klare Aussprache machte immer leicht, die Sprache allein durch die Lächeln der finnischen Untertitel zu lernen. Es dauerte ungefähr ein halbes Jahr, bis ich ein Ordner Untertitel sehen konnte. Aufgrund der Pflichtunterrichten Schwedisch habe ich weder Schwedisch noch Deutsch gelernt. Mein Schulleiter hat mir verboten, Deutsch zu lernen, obwohl ich fast alles verstanden habe, was ich im Fernsehen auf Deutsch gehört habe. Der Schulleiter sagt, dass der Beginn von Deutsch mein Schwedisch Lernen gefährden könnte. Well, it's not only Viking I speak the modern civilized languages as well. My first optional tongue was the nearly dead language of the ancient Romans, which we pronounce in the medieval way, the classic way. Quod licet Jovi, non licet bovi. Mens sana in corpore sano. Mens sana in corpore sano. It's breaking. Gotta make it go up. Oh, what the fuck? Did it delete it? I don't want it. Did it actually delete the text due to a water drop? Because it could... Oh my god. It's fucking... Of course. Oh my god. No, don't do that. No. Open it. Do I still have it? Okay, so let's move on to the more civilized tongues. From the Viking tongues. Ouais, en France, j'ai appris qu'il existe une sorte de religion qui consiste à croire en l'Union européenne. Mais nous n'avons jamais cru en Finlande et les Français ne se séparent pas de dire quelque chose. Fuck, I just lost it. Commandant, je veux m'énerver pour le bien de mes téléspectateurs finlandais qui pensent que parler en langue romane implique de parler avec une certaine passion. Et franchement, il est très facile pour moi de parler avec passion de la façon dont l'industrie pharmaceutique mondiale détruit notre sang national. Nous ne pouvons pas tout devenir chimiquement altéré, non? La Finlande est le père d'une population qui aime la nature et nous simplement voulons rester très naturel. Mais les colonialistes en blouse blanche ne nous laissent pas utiliser les médecins et herboristerie. Qu'est-ce que la Finlande sinon une réserve pour les Indiens finlandais? À qu'on réserve en Amérique n'autorisait l'alcool, mais a toujours autorisé toutes les arbres, même s'il était interdit à tout le monde fumer. Tous les tribus américains ont toujours le droit de fumer de l'herbe. Italiano, ricordo quando ho visitato il punto geografico della Sicilia, sulla montana, Enna. Ho comprato una gelato a pistacchio e la panna montata sulla montana gratuitamente, gratuita. And well, Spanish, it's not like Mexican Spanish, but here in Europe, it's the same language, but it's pronounced really funny in the big cities like Madrid. It's more like tenemos que meter los bolas de farina en aceite para hacer bolas bien dosadas en aceite para mezclamos con las harinas con tahini para preparamos una falafel más fantástica, más maravillosa del mundo. Gracias por no respeto a España, pero soy un pobre cómico, ¿no? Es para divertir, ¿no? Let's go outside Europe for a while. 我和您北京的美食，我和您互动。北京有我喜欢吃每一个省份的美食，我也请您北京的老人，他们原来是 Oh my god, a big droplet of water just dropped on the fucking phone and it just started moving the text. 我也纪念北京的老人，他们将来身体的器官是。我和您北京的美食，我和您互动。北京有我喜欢吃的每一个省份的美食。我也纪念北京的老人， 他们锻炼身体的器官是其他人国家都无法比拟的，而且我是很中意，我发现中医比所有其他医师都更热情。And now let's do a bit of a language much harder than Chinese or any of the major languages. I've translated a lot from this language. I love this language. It's Greenlandic. It's an indigenous language of Greenland. It's like, I cannot call it indigenous European because Greenland is situated closer to America. And these languages are spoken in Alaska as well and of course Canada. Kullunat ornisavatis apallutik, okassaput naaladuttit, kossa sit misikärävät taamat. Takolunga saalunga, analukka opassukut, nuodlika lakka kallaalit ekkersarneeri, inniertisutaama kuarfananga. Ja. Tipan kersomaani kattana, nätsisti ilisärda mattunni. Akunni katta kaleelik sannini, akinni iskortsaisutti, kalineeria pilluku taajorlunga. I don't think a Greenlandic person could follow my pronunciation. I don't do a good job with that. I've never spoken the language. And now let's go to the original European languages, the indigenous European languages, just as indigenous as the last one, the Greenlandic. But this is the there's only one indigenous language in Europe, Sami. But there's different types of Sami, so. There used to be more than 10, and now it's more like 6 or 7 Sami languages live, some with only 100 speakers left in the tribe, like the Skolt Samis, which I'm part of, and I would very much dearly love to revive this Skolt Sami and teach it to my children and have a ton of children. I at least sometimes feel like that, but then again I have studied philosophy and all that at the university, so I know raising up children ain't an easy job, so I don't know if I can do it. I mean, it's a lot of work and I would have to have more than just one baby just guarantee the survival of the... Anyway, let's go to the indigenous European languages and see. Hey, did you see this boulder, by the way? There, it's got even water on below, so it's water is a holy element. And but I do wonder. Can you recognize when I switch between 3 tongues that are related? The last one is the indigenous European tongue, and the first 2 are related to the indigenous tongue, but are not indigenous. But languages are related and all that, so it's not that far off, but it's still, of course. So let's just do it. So before this phone really breaks down. Ükskõik, mida me Kekkonist arvame, kas me kõik ei saa nõustuda, et tema idee opetas soomlaste sugulaskeeli õige, mis tahes sugulaskeele tundmine tugevad inimese enda hõimüidentiteeti. Looduses saame ikka räägida nii, et palju mõistava. Kunagi elasi rubliku karvaga karu ja jänes. Jänes jookses kiiresti, kui karu alati metsa kuningas. See on Tapio oma männi edega. Siinä vähän etevästä odavasta Tapiosta tarhoineensa. Sitten siirrytään lähinnä Norjassa. Ja Ruotsissa puhuttuun tunturisaameen, kunnes vaihda suomalaisempaan koivaan tutumman kuuloiseen järvisaameen. Nyt porukka menee kato sekaisin, kun mä heitän vähän eri aksentteja Suomessa, niin... Tunnistatko nää, kun mä vähän saamenkielistä tuossa? Luontutjappuset kaunomisista, jos mi haldi tämä oetni. Olmotjappuda opmodaka justi vuotta. Tai kiahtakilvys kiahtabotnamis. Sillä dorvaimin hardan, mi vartit, Janni varda. Kuas ja keässä väivi kuardavel. Tarkkilit offelas varda. Mansilia iktimin, bakte vuodusloktamin, bakte loamuspoktimin, bakte tsualuspukta oktimin. puhkaisingue, muhto dalsa dusse okti. Naalei chullon challon aike juonu ollu kolla nahti ileat shat minkuin dinkui. Lea shaddi guaktelussa ja dakki biksu. Dakki juahkassa guaktin ja dusse ja daki diksu. Kuappadon lea. Leappa muhtoi ola. Luhtse rappa, maah lähte chappad muutui poraa halavua elmi dola. Kuahtsa kuulla isät vielä tarvi isä lulla. Tuaftis julla olko kolla tolmas balla. Murregalku kollas puolla. Mua tjäätsä dolla tjuolla. Kuulla okti maitto mun taaja noudalkoa muallani vatti ja muallani tiatti. And now a language for which I shall release my dreadlock in front of this boulder. That, you know, these boulders are mighty important, just like in Japanese Shintoism. We have a pretty similar belief in the Sami lands. So, okay, let's see, can I do it? Just open the hair so I can show. Big Bang shodai buah energia puahvuata mili outtulamashu tudi tunki haldasha tuula kulda maailmi tarpastu. Mun lam aik lam chuafa. Fuck, the text is so broken. Through the water droplets, just rewriting everything. Fuck, this is so annoying, man. I have to go to the internet page and find the text again, because this is really breaking my concentration like this, and it's all gone to different. Okay, let's do it again. Big Bang shodai buah energia buahvuata. Muli outtulamashu. Tuki haldasha tuula kulda maailmi tarpastu. Okay, now it's zooming because of the water droplets, and my screen is so fucking broken. Come on, let me just finish this video with this, please. Okay. Maailmi tarpastu. Mullam aikilam chuovalam evoluutio, gravitatio, kolbeluha dimension. Mullam avalas fuusio, mattastas, i takkar lahko Kristus, alla, tei shattanko, päivili timmel, iberdimli vastadas, juhasli tarpusielud geenidis, kuittak ulmuelimli teko kuutha peesisli, kalka tutkad ulmu luonto pyöräpeht viistiskis, olmos koddeli tuseohta superorganismi, evoluutio li kisto, viises apinale feilejum iskos, elles laajamin näulee kyömisriistan, ane epin luontudit arvut, lohodet ruahtis taaloin. Ja starbu nuordyhe lopa luonto, veikka luontulait olmos ferte suattet ja tuarstin, ja te tontiet puhatte vuodastellus jora ihe puudait kierust. Oh, I think my phone is still in one piece, but it's fucking wet, and I'm worried because it's so cracked up that you cannot take the water like a regular phone can. You know, there's actually, I mean, I'm born and bred in Finland on the bayou, what is known as the Bayou of Europe. You know, the official name of this country. That is why I speak in a more of a southern accent, because it just feels way more natural, because the official name of this country in its own language in Finnish is called Suomi, and suo is a compound word. There's two syllables. Suo is one word, mi is another word. So suo actually means the bio, the wetlands, the bog, the marshlands. We ain't got no alligators or crocs, and even our snakes are friendly. or maybe they're just too frozen. I just went really close to a snake just the other day and took a photo. Um, I think I'm maybe too frozen to do anything, but anyway, here I am in Finland, which is situated. It shares a border with Norway, the Norwegian wood, and Sweden, and Russia. Those are the three countries there. It shares a land border, and the way I feel, like Sweden on the west is the first Western country, and the first Eastern country is the Russia right there on the eastern side of Finland, and in between there is this reservation, of the Finnish people. I feel like everybody just wants a place. They just want to fill this place between the west and the east. Just let the natives have it, and just let them be. Let them just don't let them get too powerful. Just let them be there, and we still suffer from these horrible laws due to Russia and due to well, anyway, what did I want to say? I don't know anymore. I really had something I really wanted to say, but I don't know. Let's talk again in another video. Oh wow. Well, it's not that cold, but my titanium arm freezes. I almost froze it last night. It was +2 Celsius. Just 0 would be the freezing point, so it was basically the freezing point of water. And it's rough out here in a way, and it's not rough out here because the nature is so wonderful, takes care of us. But the society, I don't know why the hell is the society for the seventh time, the seventh year now, the happiest country in the entire world. I mean, sure, I kind of get like, all Scandinavian countries, Norway, Iceland, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, they all got this, they kind of like paradise of their prime example of Bernie Sanders type of politics. And yeah, I get it. There's this social security thing, but like it ain't working that good because, for example, when I had a serious trauma, if I had been to a war, I might have less serious of a trauma. It was tough. Like very few soldiers get actually captured by the enemy and are tortured for 4 months and just held almost constantly awake and just the torture and just so I wanted to talk about this trauma right after it happened. I asked to see a psychologist, and they say, well, you can't see a psychologist now because first you gotta do because here, of course, if you have the money, you can just go to a psychologist and see a psychologist, just like in America. But like it's very hard in Finland to have that kind of money due to the societal structure. But we got public free healthcare, so we can visit a psychologist completely free. But you gotta wait in line for about 6 months before you can see it. And then they told me that I cannot see the psychologist even after 6 months. No, even if I wait in line for 1 whole year, I cannot see a psychologist because I would have to first go to a laboratory and give a blood sample and a urine sample. This is required of everybody. I mean, you can be a priest and they will still want to check, do you take drugs, do you take alcohol? So of course, when you just come back from something like a war and you experience severe shell shock, I think it's only natural that you don't want to kill yourself, so you have a drink, a wheat drink, and Yeah, as they say in Ireland, just have a wee drink. Just, small drink. Yeah, nothing to do with the weed or the other stuff you were thinking. Nasty. Anyway, I'm not nasty like Russell Brand. Oh my God, that guy. I always felt something. Anyway, the whole point being that they actually require. I couldn't pass that because if you can't have alcohol, which I really, really, really don't want to have. Like I wouldn't drink a drop of alcohol if cannabis was legal. But it doesn't matter if I have titanium arms, a titanium leg, even if my arm and leg were amputated and I would suffer from really serious nerve pain, I would be prescribed all the strongest drugs in the world. Like just like in America, the same strong ass drugs. However, the people are protected from the dangers of the hemp flower. Like you can be on terminal ward in horrible pain, and they will say, "Okay, you got about a week to live here, till you're gonna die within a week." So I don't know if it's 2 days or 7 days or 5 days, but you're gonna die really fast. And they still protect you from the hemp flower. You are a criminal. You cannot get it. Like when I was in the ER, and later in the bone recovery ward, I tried to pay 5 times the amount of price of weed. It's just somebody, please snuck in a bit of weed here. I have to take something for the pain. But no matter how much I would offer, nobody would dare to smuggle it into the hospital. And it's so serious here. Of course, it's not like in some countries like Russia where you actually go to prison for a gram of weed or less. However, here you go to jail. Like they actually lifted me up from the wheelchair and make me hop on one leg about 3 weeks after I had been scraped off the tarmac. So I couldn't even push the wheelchair with that foot, like just very little and backwards, because that foot was also broken but not replaced by titanium, and I couldn't use neither of my arms much, like not enough to just push the wheelchair with my arms. Both of my wrists were so injured, and the other one replaced by titanium, I couldn't use it. So they put me in handcuffs. I told them, look, I just got out of the hospital. Watch out for that titanium arm. I'm going to have a new surgery, and it's really tough because I can't take any medication. So I just have to endure. And they would just put me in handcuffs and made me hoppity hop on my one leg to the prison. And there they would put me in the back of this police van. They used to have police vans a few years ago. And there you just sit in the back of the van. It's there's a seat that can fit 3 guys, and there's no seat belt or nothing. It's not a seat, it's like a plank of wood. So you just slide, and then but normally it's easy. Like when you're in handcuffs, you could just take a seat on it and spread your legs real wide so you don't fall over. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't place any weight on the broken titanium foot. And so it was super hard. I would have to use my head, though I had just I still should have had the neck support for the broken neck, but I had and escaped the hospital as I couldn't take it. As I couldn't take the pain, I had to get some cannabis, so I escaped the hospital. And then I escaped abroad immediately almost, but then came back too soon because they told me they don't want to take me back by force. And I made a miraculous recovery. The surgeon was amazed. How did you do it? Well, I said, I just took cannabis every single day from morning till evening to subdue my pain, which is also, I cannot do a commercial for weed here. It's not the best thing in the world. I think water is the best thing in the world. It's the basis of all human life, and it's holy in many religions. However, so smoking weed in Finland is not as dangerous as smoking weed in Hungary or Russia. However, you just get ticketed. But then again, if you commit a murder of a human being, another fellow human, you go to prison. And when you get out of the prison, if you're still alive, you're gonna start again. You know, you're welcome back to the society. And but if you get ticketed, fined for less than $10 worth of weed, like I'm talking about half a gram or less, you will be punished longer than if you actually had murdered a person. But of course, you know, I understand it's the bayou of Europe, so it's like people here really love their nature, this kind of place. And I guess to the locals, it is a crime worse than murdering a human being is to murder a flower. So I kind of understand, but like, I don't burn the flowers alive. I buy them all dried up and dead already when I buy them. So I'm not the one who murders them. And why should the murder of a flower be a more serious thing than the murder of a human being, seriously speaking? Because if you murder a human being, you get punished for about, well, a long, long time, but not as long than the rest of your life, considering you still have decades to go. Like I should have at this age, I should have decades to go. But, you know, even if I live till I'm 80 or 90, I will still be punished when I'm 90 for having smoked weed 50 years prior. Like, you know, to find a ticket is easy. You don't have to go to prison. You don't even always have to go to jail. But the police will take you and test you. And anyway, they might not even take you. They just might let you be and just write that ticket. But that means that even when you're 80 years old, you are not welcome to this society, because the officials keep harassing you for that one crime, and they will make your life extremely difficult. Like me, like, you know, in most countries, criminals can find jobs like in construction and cleaning gas stations and that kind of jobs. But here, we are such sticklers for rules and bureaucracy, thanks to living next to Russia, which is famous for Soviet bureaucracy, but we were never under Russia. Actually, on average, one Finn killed about 13 Russian or Soviet soldiers in the last skirmish, so we really defended this country hard just to stay independent, and we didn't want to become Soviet. So, long story short, like, if I want to be a bicycle food deliveries to customers, I'm not allowed to do that because I have been fined for smoking weed. If I want to clean gas station toilets, I'm not allowed to do that because criminals are not allowed to do that kind of stuff. They might steal something from the gas station. Or if you're cleaning an office, I can't even, like, I applied for a night job to stay up all night just to carry heavy loads inside a warehouse, but no, that's not for criminals. I'm such a criminal, for I have smoked the devil's lettuce, the wacky tobacco. And it's beyond me, like, how come? Like, even if I had, like, doctor's papers saying that I haven't used any drug for over 5 years, they would still treat me like this, you know? And the funniest thing is, like, I told, not a doctor, but something like a doctor, I told this doctor that I put this bottle on his table like this. Just I take a few drops on my tongue of this. It's CBD. It has 0 THC, so that's legal. But I told that for this to help me, I have to overdose, and that's not healthy because there's all these chemicals, and it says strictly in the bottle, don't overdose. I cannot do this overdosing thing for months and months. This is dangerous. So the doctor, without saying anything, wrote in the paper and diagnosed me with the stamp that's gonna stay there forever, that overdose of cannabinoids with 0 THC, just CBD. And what is this overdose? This overdose was just me telling that there hasn't been any problem. This helps me, but I have to take it more than recommended. That is why they write behind my back, overdose of cannabinoids. So even if Finland legalized cannabis, I would still be the last guy to get it. And I have a lot of good reasons, like why the hell would I do this Mel Gibson kind of agony thing that I don't take any medications, and you know, when I'm in the ER just scraped off the tarmac, well, because of this indigenous way of thinking that I was raised up in. Like I wasn't, when I almost died out of high fever when I was a child, because you know my parents wouldn't believe in the white-coated man, the medical colonialist, because you know they're colonializing over the indigenous medications, and we need both, frankly speaking. But you know we have to complement each other to just like in China, you got the traditional Chinese medicine, and then you got the Western medicine. And the Western medicine is great when you have a surgery. They are surgeons. Well, actually, they did have surgeons in 3,000 years ago already in China, in the traditional Chinese. Anyway, the natural healers don't usually do surgeries and stuff like that. So we need both. And but there should be some respect for the religion, because I felt like when they want to force me to just take their drugs, it's like they are giving a Jew or a Muslim pork. And if you don't eat that pork, you must be crazy. So let's just medicate you till you get calm and you can eat the pork, even though it's against your religion. It's such a backward way of thinking. Like, isn't there room for any individuality in this society that's happiest in the world? No, 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 of course. We are landlocked and lodged in between Russia and Sweden. They both like a lot of bureaucracy in those countries. The other one is just a lot of more corrupted than the other. You know, it's like, well, let me give you an example. Neil Hardwick was doing this kind of performance when he was young in Tampere. He was naked in a phone booth, like, you know, skinny dipping naked. Nada on him, not even a loincloth. So he was there, his everything showing, and that was legal for 1 hour. If it doesn't last for more than 1 hour, and they huge crowds gathered to look, what is that guy doing, this crazy guy, and they were filming the for television this thing of some kind of performance. And the police would just watch there for 1 hour and say nothing. That's legal. But when he got out of there, he was, of course, kind of like, oh, what have I done for money? Somebody handed him a beer, like, this, not even a strong beer, just this, take a sip of that beer, and the police will put him in handcuffs and arrest him, because drinking in a public place is forbidden. So you don't have to wear a loincloth. You can just walk naked. But if you take one sip of alcohol, oh my God, you're going to jail for the night, for the 6 hours or 10 hours or something like that, whatever time of the day you get caught. And then you have to pay a ticket, and it is written in your record that you have kind of a lawless nature, so you won't get travel visas to America, and so because this is Finland, Suomi, the bayou, So we are on the bayou. I can show you some marshlands if I just take a few steps. And Suo literally means bayou or marsh or swamp. And that's why I like to speak in a more southern accented with a southern twang, cause well, first of all, of course, the bayou speaks to me in America as well, cause I'm bayou boy through and through. But all of this country is a one large bayou. There's not much else than the bayou, and so it would feel really weird for me if I talk in some standard American English, or if I talk with a really posh British accent. Because, I have to make it more working class. I have to make it more redneck. Because, I can't just, I don't know which language I'm supposed to speak now. Just can't make it, I have to make it sound more like why would, matches with my identity. Yeah, I'm not from New York. Is not my kind of a place, and London is not my kind of a place. My kind of a novel writer is Jack London, and like the Burning Sunshine up in Alaska. I think it was called the Burning Sunshine, and then the Sea Wolf. And I like it more outdoorsy, this kind of rugged stuff. And yeah, I would love to play in the mud with some rednecks. And most of all, if I had a chance just once more to visit America after I have been caught with, so I think I will be there even when I'm 80 years old. God bless if I could knock on some wood here. So I wish but I think they're gonna punish me even in my 80s. Certainly they're gonna punish me in Finland. But even if I try to apply a travel visa to see some grandkid in America, I still wouldn't be allowed to, because you have a criminal mind. You smoked weed when it's against the law. If I had smoking weed in Amsterdam, I would have no problem. But when you do it in a country where it's illegal, it means that you gotta have nature, a mindset that's kind of criminal. So you're willing to break the law, so they don't want to take that risk. They don't want to take that risk that you would break the law in their country as well, because you clearly don't really care about the law. Like, why didn't you just escape the hospital and fly to Amsterdam in a wheelchair? Well, I didn't have the money to go abroad like that, far away, where it's legal. So, and really, so such is life here. But what a waste of human potential. Like, I've been doing overwork for 7 years in a row after the university, and worked in a lot of different countries, and been to spent time actually, well, more like lived in 4 continents, like a regular person and not a tourist, like a really poor person and a pauper. And but anyway, I used to also have it good. When I was working for 7 years in a row, I had several motorcycles, several cars, and all that. So, like, there's this rule in Finland that if you like smoke here in the forest, and some guy would be just walking his dog and just, I smell a little bit of marijuana, and calls the cops, then you get ticketed. And if that thing happens 3 times within the same calendar year, that you've been caught 3 times for having like one joint and smoking it, that if you get caught 3 times, it means, and you're just sitting in the forest, you've never driven under the influence, that means they take your driver's license away, even though you've never driven under the influence. And guess what? They haven't given my driver's license back to me for 7 years now. And they're never gonna give it back to me unless I do a year that no matter where I am in Finland, or I cannot travel for a year, I just have to always be ready that I get a phone call, a surprise phone call, go to the laboratory right now and do that thing we need to check. Have you taken drugs? And they do this many times, like 10 times within that year. And like I could do it if I could see a psychologist and receive some help with this just shell shock, but really now the best help I've gotten has been cannabis, because I used to suffer from the shell shock. Like I would get these flashbacks when something reminded me of that, and I couldn't face it. I would just mentally paralyze myself and just overwork and just focus on that and not be able to think about it at all, what I just remembered. But with cannabis, I can just think for hours that kind of painful stuff, and do a lot of writing of that, and open the knots, that mental knots here and there, and these could be untangled one day, I guess, but not gonna be that easy to untangle all this big of a thing. So yeah, such is life. If Bernie Sanders and that type of politicians would lead America for a really long time, several presidential terms, then your country would be like this, and this ain't that good. And it's the 6th of May and it's snowing, and this is not even that unusual. I mean, anyway, as this ain't orange, top of that here, just comment below if you want me to talk about something more. And as Eddie Mathis said, body goo.